Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do the 6th episode in my tropical bonsai series. I have a nice tamarind pre-bonsai to style today, and I ordered it online from Wigert's Bonsai, which is a pretty prominent bonsai nursery located near Tampa, Florida. The part of this pre-bonsai that really stands out is the gnarled and twisting nabari at the bottom of the trunk. So I'm going to do my best to emphasize that, as well as thin out some of the branches and give the tree a little bit more structure. So my first order of business was to remove some of the redundant branches, and how I make these decisions is if there's two branches coming out of the same point, or if there's two branches that are parallel to each other, opposite of the trunk, it's usually good practice to take one of those off. It's also helpful to determine what the front of the tree is going to be, and prune off any branches that are coming directly out of the front or back of the trunk. So with a little bit of initial cleaning up done, it was now time to really take a look at this tamarind tree, and try to decide my vision for it for the future and what I want to grow this tree into. I also took the opportunity while studying the tree to remove any foliage that was coming out of any crotches in between the branches, and what this does is it just serves to better emphasize the actual shape and form of the tree. Now that the initial pruning was done, I started to apply wire to first the main branches and then some of the smaller secondary and tertiary branches in order to start shaping the tree. This tamarind looks very similar to other species, like a Brazilian rain tree, specifically in the foliage, but luckily this type of tree doesn't have thorns like a Brazilian rain tree does, so I was able to get it wired up relatively quickly and easily. Here you see me just lightly checking the wire, and brushing it a little bit just to free up any of the foliage that may have gotten caught under the wire when I was wrapping the branch. A good technique that I recently learned for wiring up branches is to actually wire two branches at the same time. Pick two that are similarly sized and are also coming out of similar points of the trunk, and you can actually use each branch as an anchor for the other, and the wire ends up looking a lot cleaner and nicer and is probably more effective than if you were using more careless wiring techniques. After the tree was all wired up, I used my wire cutters to trim back just a little bit of a couple of the leaders up towards the top of the tree, and give it a little bit better scale as a bonsai. I made the decision to keep this tree in its plastic training pot that it was shipped in. Honestly, it doesn't look half bad, and also it's not a very great time of the year to be replanting trees, so I'm gonna let this thing grow in this pot until probably late fall. Then I'll be able to assess the root growth, as well as kind of start thinking about what I want to do with this tree in the future pot-wise. And part of that future repot will obviously be replacing the potting soil that it's in right now with some more traditional bonsai soil. I really appreciate it if you guys have made it this far with me. That's all the bonsai work for today, but for the last minute or so, I'm going to show you the painting I actually did of this bonsai tree once I completed its initial styling. I've been learning to oil paint for maybe almost 2 years at this point, but actually haven't gotten around to making any paintings for the past couple of months, so painting this tree was a good way to not only work on some of my bonsai, but get back into another hobby of mine. Well, that's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed what you saw and you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and obviously like the video. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you all in the next one.